Ric Bucher joins us. He knows all and shares all right here on the Doug Gottlieb Show. Let's start with LeBron and Stephen A. because chronological order before we get to the groin injury.
Yep.
How do guys in the league perceive this?
Oh, they perceive it as a sports commentator or the media, someone in the media, overstepping their bounds, making something that wasn't about sport, making it personal, because and maybe doing it for attention and clicks as opposed to genuine commentary. And it's not a conversation. The problem with the conversation around Bronny James is there's the conversation about whether Bronny belongs in the NBA or is a legitimate NBA player, and LeBron's part in that, and what Bronny's potential is. And then there is where Stephen A. took it, which is, I'm begging you as a father, don't do this to your son. That's what made it personal. That's where, and I mean, let's take a step back. Think about LeBron James and his history, and the fact that he didn't grow up with a dad, and by all accounts, wants to be the dad that he never had, wants to be a good dad to his kids. And Stephen A. was basically saying publicly, "You're not being a good dad to your son, and I'm going to pull you up on that. I need to tell you how you're not being a good son, or how you should be a good father to your son." And that's where it went out of bounds. And I don't actually, LeBron's response to that, I don't have a problem with it if he has a problem with it, because I thought that Stephen A's, I don't think it was genuine. I thought it was theater. And when you get into something that means as much as that to LeBron James, he's going to say something, and other players are going to look at it in the same way. You're talking about my family. You're not talking about an NBA player now, not the way that Stephen A. framed it. You're talking about my family, and they're going to feel some kind of way about that.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I would wonder, though, why he would come after me on social media if it's because, my take has always been and remains.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he is a great dad. But now he's doing what overbearing fathers do.
Yep.
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 And if that's personal to him, like Bronny James cannot be, he can't be shielded from criticism. And I know you're saying that's not what it's about, but it's clearly bothering him, people who have been critical of his son and why he's there, right? And if it wasn't, then why did JJ Redick say that stupid stuff where he was like, he's earned what did he earn? Like, again, if you think he's a prospect worthy of being picked, great.
Yeah.
But don't start with he's earned it when he didn't really earn being a McDonald's All-American, and he didn't really earn being drafted based upon his performance at USC.
No doubt about it. And some of that is just the politics within the Lakers. JJ has to defend the pick. He can't possibly put it out there that Bronny doesn't deserve minutes, doesn't deserve a place on the roster, didn't deserve to make an appearance in the second quarter. I mean, all of that is quite clear. LeBron hasn't gone back at everyone who has pointed that out, though. He made a point of going up to Stephen A. because it was the "I'm speaking to you as a father." That's the lane that Stephen A. took that truly struck a nerve with LeBron and prompted that exchange. And I would dare say most players would look at it. Well, they would agree. Bronny doesn't deserve to be in the league. They all know that. But when you frame it as you are doing a disservice to your son. Even if we can all look at it and go, yeah, you know what? You went too far in setting it up so that you could play with your son. You went too far. There's something about someone getting on TV and saying, Doug, you know what? You're really not a good parent. You're really not a good parent. And you're going to have I think any of us would have a visceral reaction to that to say, don't tell, like, whatever it is, who are you, Mr. Sports Commentator? Who are you to tell me what my relationship with my son is? Because that's essentially what it is. It's not what you did. It's what you're doing to your kid. And I the two are intertwined, but I can see why the approach that Stephen A took hit a nerve in particular with LeBron.
How bad's the groin?
Groins are tricky. They're saying a week or two. If it's that, then it's not too bad because generally those groins, as you know, groin injury, man, that can take forever. Those are hard to predict. So he, I think when he was in the post and had sort of the multiple pivot and finished it, that's where it was. It didn't look, violent by any means. So I'm going to go on what they are suggesting, which is only a week or two, and he only tweaked it. But this is, even if it's a week or two for the schedule that they have coming up, this is, in fact, that they're 3 games out of 5th, and Minnesota and Golden State are coming. Like, this is going to be a battle to the end, and they can't afford to have, by any means, both Luka and LeBron compromised. And that was one of my big takeaways from the Boston game is you've got both of your key players hobbled, and this is going to be basically a playoff race to the finish. If you're looking to finish in the top 6, that's not a good place for the Lakers to be right now.
It's Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. Ric Bucher is our guest. Of course, Bucher knows all that goes on inside the NBA. What have the Celtics shown you recently with some of their performances?
It's tough to unpack them because I feel as if they've been coasting for a better part of this year, and they only bring out their A game now and then. I thought the game against the Lakers was classic, and then they came out and they were playing too fast and they were a little revved up and they wanted to prove something, and then they have so much, like their depth and their versatility, all of that, and their experience. Like I haven't had them as the team to beat, but I'm beginning to lean that way. Like they're beginning to show me some things where, they still have some flaws. They every now and then they raise a doubt. I don't like when Jaylen Brown goes ISO as much as he does. I still think he has to make better decisions. I still question his handle. Jason Tatum, sort of the same thing. But I just, Drew Holiday doesn't have a particularly good game. Kristaps Porzingis isn't there. Peyton Pritchard's not really a factor. And it didn't matter. Like, they just have so many resources that I think they're going to be hard to beat, even when they don't give you, like, even with the questions that I still have about certain things about them. That they're better than the sum of their parts when it doesn't become the Jalen and Jason show. But they may just be too good. Sort of the same way they were last year. They were just too good. They had too much, and it's not the classic version of a defending championship team. They're not just mauling people. but they just have so many elements that they can go to that very few teams, if any, have the answers for.
Really quickly, okay? Got about a minute left. Barkley went after Kendrick Perkins and ESPN for only talking about, two teams. What's your reaction? What's your reaction to those comments?
I mean, doesn't Charles kind of do the same thing, at various times? Yeah, we haven't given enough attention to Cleveland and Oklahoma City, and it's. But I mean, we both know this. That's the way media works because that's the way fans are.
Yes.
Fans, for the most part, the majority of fans care about these players, care about these teams, so that's who we're going to talk about. And we could talk all we wanted about, what OKC has developed or, how Evan Mobley has come along in Cleveland. It just doesn't ring the bell. It just doesn't. Because, I mean, you get the hardcore fans out there every once in a while who will pipe up and say, well, I wish you would talk about all these other teams. They're like, you're one voice. Like, there's no chorus that's singing that song. People, and you just see the response. Talk about certain guys. I just did a thing on Fox, on FS1. We had a debate about, what LeBron doing now is what LeBron is doing now and how that's affecting his claim
legacy,
to being
yeah.
the GOAT. And it got like 2 million views.
Right.
And that's higher.
Yep. That's exactly what happens. Hey, Bucher, you're the best, man. Appreciate you joining us. Talk with you next week on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks so much.